right. Welcome back to Inspection Pro Joe, episode 6, Free Money. Today, I'm very happy to have Dave Iava, CEO of Pair Payments, join us. Dave, nice to see you.
How you doing, Jake?
Very good. We're happy to have you on.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
we are really thrilled to have Dave on. He's going to show us how you can get free money in your business with not even making a major change. It's probably like a 5-minute change realistically in your business that can fuel your business and give you more money to market. I was so fortunate about over a year ago now that I met Dave down at a conference in Miami. We were at a Grant Cardone boot camp, and it was so I'm so glad how it all aligned because I met him in a lunch line. He was standing behind me, and we just hit it off. And I'll never forget as we sit down for lunch. He tells me, I said, "What industry are you in?" He goes, "Oh, I'm a credit card processor." And I remember looking at my wife at the time and thinking, "Oh, here we go, another credit card processor." But we formed an incredible friendship, and I think it's so key whenever you partner with people in business that you build a strong relationship with them because it's a partnership. And he's become one of my best friends, and he saved me this last year over $70,000 that I can now put back in my business. That has actually helped me grow market share through the coronavirus. And I'm so glad to be able to share him with all of you guys and our listeners, because he not only does he have a unique product that's taken over the home inspection industry, but he's one of my best friends, and I'm so excited to introduce Dave Iava to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dave.
All right, Dave. So why don't you start off with telling us a little bit how you got started, in the payment processing world, and how you built your own business, and then we'll get into how we got into home inspections from there.
Okay, well, I've kind of spent my adult life being a serial entrepreneur. I was working for a computer company years and years ago, and the computer company had a great product, but it wasn't really well run. And I ended up taking over a couple of the colleges that they contracted with when that business failed. And I had a computer education program at Bridgewater State College and Fairfield University, and we grew that. But it wasn't really my calling or where I wanted to be. And I don't know if you know anything about state schools, but they have no problem with you being a contractor, but getting hired is a whole nother ballgame. And they decided to move our program into the math department. And math professors generally aren't business people, so they managed to take a $3 million program and burn it into the ground in about a year. So I went back to what I did in college, and that was to go back into training, and I started a company called Evolution Sports Performance, and we grew pretty quick. We went from 1 to 3 locations in 2 years. Was there for almost 8 years, but as it developed and matured as a business, I was doing less and less coaching and more of the business side of it and the sales side of it, which I really wanted to coach. So I ended up selling that to my partner, and at the time I was trying to learn more about finance and how to really develop myself as a business person in order to move forward and secure myself financially for the future. So I was looking for an income with that had passive revenue streams in it, and I came across the processing business, and this was about 10 years ago at this moment in time. And yes, I'm dating myself.
Wow, I don't know how old you were.
Yeah, I think I'm 1,040 this year. So I got into it. Very difficult business to get into, especially at that point. It was already a very mature industry and very competitive and very difficult. And we really had to try to find ways to separate ourselves from other people. And my rule of thumb was very different from a lot of other processors in the business. I was looking for a little bit for a long time, so I wanted to play the long game with every client. Save them as much money as I possibly could and have them for 30 years. I'll end up making more money in the long run than being with someone for 2 years and gutting them like most people in the industry do. And that philosophy worked out pretty well. We grew. We were mostly in the restaurant industry. We did a little bit of retail, but mostly in the restaurant industry. And we grew quite a nice little business over the course of those 10 years. And then about 2 years ago, the product that I talked to Joey about started to gain some prevalence in the industry, and I stayed away from it for a while, mostly because of my own bias on it. I was the guy where if I saw the difference between a credit card price and a gas price at the gas station, I would avoid. I mean, I'm a cheap Catholic, so I would avoid the gas station that was charging for the use of a credit card and go somewhere else. But and that's really like the first industry that had a no fee credit card program. And but like all things, you just get used to things, and I started going to those gas stations. It was no big deal. So and that led me up to present day, where I was at that Grant Cardone conference down in Miami, and like Joe said, I bumped into him at a lunch line. We sat down and had lunch just because there was so many people there. There was not enough tables. I was like, why don't we just sit down together and we'll talk? And he did throw me a look like, oh, Jesus, credit card guy. I mean, it was pretty. And his wife at the time looked at me and was like if his look wasn't bad enough, hers was even worse. So I kind of immediately stopped the subject and was trying to find out what Joey did. And Joey explained his business. It was kind of a mom and pop operation, working with dad and brothers, and how he grew the business. And at his age, I was like, wow, that's freaking impressive. At the time, I think, Joe, you have 14 inspectors. You guys were doing some serious revenue, and I kind of let it go. But I did the revenue in my head. I'm sitting up in bed and I'm just like, is that $1 million over 10 years? Is he literally spending $1 million over 10 years? And I was just doing the math in my head, and it was like, so I went down and found Joey in the morning before we started listening to the lectures. And I was like, hey, buddy, listen, we got to have lunch again today. So we sat down and had lunch. I said, listen, I have this program. I haven't even used it that much. But if you do it, it'll save you like $1 million over 10 years. Like, seriously, wow. This is like your kid's college education. This is like your house payment. This is a couple of cars. And when you think about it, like, a business takes cash, right? And you don't pay to take cash. You don't pay to take checks, but you do pay to take credit cards, and you pay a lot to take a credit card. Yeah. People look at it like 3%. Well, 3% cost of doing business, but a business in today's world, if you make 8 to 10% profit, you're doing pretty good. And if you take that 3% and you apply it against 8%, you're talking like 40% profit margin. It changes. And so I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Joey got all excited. He's like, I could save $70,000. And then 3 months went by. And this is pretty traditional. This is how it works. Joey had to get that concept around in his head a little bit, and think about what are the impacts, because he's a smart business guy, and he's not just going to jump on something because it sounds good. And he went through the same premise that I did. I had that, which is the gas station premise, and you got to get past your own biases, because you don't think the way everybody else thinks. You think the way you think. And,
and I think for our listeners too, it's, we're talking about saving money and $70,000 over a year.
Yeah.
Did I take that and just take it as income? No. I mean, thank God I didn't, because I use that money to grow. And I think that's very important, because a lot of our listeners, they may not be at the $1 million inspection level. They may not be able at the $2 million inspection level. But one thing that this can do for you is put more money in your pocket, so you can hire that first inspector, that you can start, maybe hire somebody to answer the phones part-time, start paying them hourly, $1,000 savings a month, $2,000, that's real.
Yeah. And
you need every little bit as you start your business, so you're not going to your family, you're not going to your friends, and you're kind of self-funding it through the revenue of your business. And I think this is one of those ways that you can do that. For us personally, we've been able to gain market share through this crazy COVID time. And part of it is we have more capital to do it because we do no fee processing. And I did this. We signed up over a year ago before COVID was even going to be a thing. But I'm so looking back, it was one of the best decisions that we made as a company, because we're going through this uncertainty right now. COVID rates are going higher. Is there going to be another shutdown? How will that impact our industry? And now I'm such in a stronger position because of it. So don't look at it as, for our listeners, I hope that you want, if you're listening to this podcast, you want to grow a business. You want to grow your inspection business. look at it as, what can I do with this money now, this freed up money that I never thought I had, to be able to build it back in your business. So
Mhm.
don't take what Dave's saying with a grain of salt. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is the building block for us to be able to grow. And this is a way that we can do it without changing our business much at all.
And
So
it ties into some of the other things we've talked about in other podcasts. We've had a theme, and I believe we touched upon it in the first podcast we did, Joey, with you and I, where we talked
yep,
about growth and wanting to partner with people and with companies that want to grow with you. And
yep,
Dave's in a position where what he does, he had said that he's in it for the long game, a little over a long time. And if you can do that, I know that no fee credit card processing for a lot of home inspectors probably sounds too good. And they might think to themselves, all right, well, how's this guy making money? What's going on here? The thing is, if you partner with people who have that mentality that they want to grow with you so that they can grow as you're growing, that's a beautiful thing. That's the
yeah,
kind of partnership that
Yeah.
you need to find. And it's not just processing. That's every
yeah,
facet of your business. You need to find people who don't want to just bleed you dry. You need to find people who want you to grow with them.
Well,
cool,
guys, one of the things I
great point,
discovered
Jake.
over the last couple of, for the last 10 years of doing this business, especially in the restaurant business, but I'm seeing it here too in this vertical of home inspection. I call it growing by shrinking. Okay. A lot of business owners have that mentality that I need to save, I need to cut, I need to, you start shaving here, you start shaving there, you get rid of this software package, which made you more efficient. And now all of a sudden you're spending 3 hours doing something that took you 5 minutes. There's no way to cut back on your business effectively without cutting back on the quality of your product and the quality of the service you provide. So when you are shaving, what are you really gaining? You're gaining $100. How is $100 by getting rid of a software package going to affect the outcome of your business? What
Yeah,
you need to do
true.
is you need to sit down, you need to get a whiteboard out, and you got to figure out how to drive revenue. That's the most important thing. It's because revenue solves all problems. And we spend our time thinking about shaving. That's really going to hurt your business. And the good thing about this product is this actually, in a way, falls into that shaving category. But if you are a home inspector doing, 60 inspections, 70 inspections, this is a very real $1,000 a month that you could put back in your pocket. And if there's nothing you can do to your business to save income of that level that won't damage your business.
No,
This
exactly
just
right.
happens like that. That money is yours again next month. You apply that to whatever part of your business that you need to drive revenue. I talk to restaurant owners all the time about this. Don't go buy a car with the $500 you're saving. Put
Yeah,
marketing budget. And the reason why I think you should put it into a marketing budget, because you complain to me every month you don't have any money to market. Okay. Which
yeah,
is also something people look to cut, which is crazy. Never cut
no,
marketing. That's something you always have to drive. And this gives you this amount of money that you can drive into marketing really can help swell your revenue. And that's people got to
yeah.
think in that direction,
So,
Exactly. It's not the client you may lose, it's the 10 that you're going to gain
mhm.
from putting it
Right.
back into your business. Dave,
Absolutely.
explain to us, because you kind of came into the home inspection industry. I was your first home inspection client. But you kind of took it over. And I think the reason you took it over is, one, you're very transparent. Um, and you're really, like you said, you do a little bit for a long time. You're really in it for the long haul. You're in it for this relationship building. And when, from being in the industry, the credit card process is kind of cutthroat. There's a key players that kind of have a stranglehold until pair payments come in. It's really taking it over, and it's taking it over on this no fee side. What makes your no fee product, no fee credit card processing product so unique? Because I know there's home inspectors out there that will just charge a percentage on top of their inspection fee. Why is your product better, and what makes, I know it's compliant the way that you do it, and just by adding a fee, that's really not compliant. So explain to us the uniqueness of your product
Sure.
and why people, if they're doing this, should go with pair payments.
Well, it's interesting because you made a good point. I do come across people that just say, "Oh, I just added the fee, so I don't need anyone's services." And I which is very interesting to me because I'm going to answer your question, Joey, by asking you a question. Okay.
Yep.
When you go out and you do an inspection, do you take pride in that inspection, and do you do it the right way? or are you looking to cut a corner and not worry about the consequences?
Yeah, no, we better be doing it the right way.
Right. So
it's standards.
This is no different. There's 1,000 different ways to do anything. Okay. And some of them are shady. Some of them are, sort of okay. And then some are the right way. So the product that we have was designed to be compliant with all Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover rules, but also follow all state guidelines and state laws. And to do it in such a way that it keeps your bookkeeping clean, helps you avoid the extra taxes you would pay by collecting the revenue on the fees, and keep you compliant with MasterCard, Visa. So a couple of basic things. When you are charging a convenience fee, you're not allowed to make money. And when there's over
as a business owner,
yeah, you're not allowed to make money. You can get your
as
fee,
the merchant,
you can collect what your cost is, but you can't make money, and that's a Visa, MasterCard compliance rule. So there's over 220 different credit cards, and they all have different prices and costs, and you have no idea of knowing which product or which card and which cost is being charged to the customer, and then recoup it with a convenience fee. So if you charge a 3.95% convenience fee and the card costs 2.79, you've made money and you're in violation of Visa MasterCard rules. Okay. Yep. So by not putting that money in your bank account and escrowing it, which is what we do, we actually take the fee at the transaction level through proprietary software. That fee never makes your account. So if you charge 100, Joe, you get 100. Right. Yep. And the $3 $4 that you would charge in the fee goes to an escrow account, and that balances off against your credit card statement. That's how we get the zero. But you're now compliant with MasterCard, Visa. I don't want this to be like a scare tactic that people have to worry about. But if someone does call Visa, does call MasterCard, and they investigate it, there's no warnings. They just hit you with a fine. Yeah. And it's a big one. It's like $1,000. The second fine is 10 grand. Third fine, they don't let you use MasterCard, Visa anymore, which could be really bad for your business. It doesn't, I haven't seen it happen often. I've seen it happen, but it's not a regular occurrence. But the question is why would you even put yourself at that risk? There's no reason to do it.
Exactly. It's funny. You bring up like such an interesting, it just rang through my head. If you do the little things right, the big things take care of themselves.
Right. That's
and
absolutely
this is just one of those things. You want to make sure as you guys are building your business, build it the right way from the ground up. And if you built it the wrong way, start cleaning it up and doing things right. It's one thing that you can go to sleep at night and not have to worry about. And it's gonna save you a bunch. That was the biggest thing ringing in my head, and that's so true. Not just when we're talking about just changing your credit card process, but every little thing in your business. If you do the little things right, the big things take care of themselves. And you can build a business that's going to last and stand the test of time, guys. Yeah. So important. I just had to mention that, Dave. Thanks.
No, right. That is very important. So the compliance issue is reason number one to do it the right way. Reason number two is that escrowing the fee means that $3.95 never comes to your account. That's gonna be right now when you write off your credit card fees, you actually get a return. Okay. At the end of the year in taxes, when you add a convenience fee that goes into your account, that kind of wipes out that money that you would get as a return. So by us escrowing that fee, you get that return back. Okay. So not only are you saving money on the fees, but you're saving money on the taxes. So that to me is a reason just to do it the right way. I mean, we don't need to be stubborn about this. Just do it the right way and make all the money you're supposed to make. And then the last part is a simple one. It's just the bookkeeping aspect of it. If you charge $100, have $100 go in your account. What most companies do, because they don't take the fee out at the transaction level, is they dump the $3 into your account, but banks round up the 3 digits. So they're taking like $2.97 out. Mm-hmm. So over, in your case, over 400 inspections, your books end up being a mess,
Well, 400, 4,000 in a year.
Yeah. And when the IRS sees pennies off on every transaction, they start wondering, what else is going on.
So it just opens the door for them to audit and do silly things.
Yeah. But so again, those are the three reasons, and the escrow works out great. It's proprietary software. It's we're way ahead of the curve on this. No one really has this software yet. There's one other company, but to the listeners out there, it's just be compliant, do it the right way. It's no skin off your back. You're filling out the same 4 pieces of paper, no matter who you're working with. So might as well just do it the right way.
Yeah, it's a very easy process for those that are interested in doing no fee processing or just trying to get a better rate. Make
Yep.
sure you reach out to Pair Payments. They sponsor this podcast, so you'll have their contact information. But guys, it's one of those things. We want to help you grow your business. This is one of the ways that, again, I'm not going to promote something on this podcast that I don't utilize myself, or I don't strongly believe that it can really help your business. So I actually use Pair Payments in my home inspection business, and I'm really great friends with Dave, and because he gets the relationship aspect that he wants to see me grow while he's growing his business and wants to grow himself. And so bluntly, as I look to partner with people in this industry that tap into my business or have access to key parts of my business, I want to make sure that they're growing personally. I want to make sure that they're in the process of growing a business. And I want to make sure that we can have a strong relationship. Now, I don't have to be best friends with them, but they better see eye to eye to me on some very key things. And make sure you're doing that in your own business. If you're partnering up with partners, make sure that they believe in the same growth strategy that you believe in, guys. That's so key. You want to surround yourself with that energy and the right people, because it's going to ultimately catapult you into the next level and the level that you go to. So thanks so much, Dave, for being on. We really appreciate you, man.
Thanks
You've
for having
done
me.
incredible things for my business, and I can't wait for you to help other home inspectors free up some cash flow so they can do incredible things in their business.
Well,
We
Joe,
are going to leave their content. Yep,
thanks for having me. And I just wanted to mention that, that's one of the reasons why we sponsor this podcast, is because, you guys do really a good job at reaching out and providing information that, quite frankly, other people are charging for. And you're out here doing it for free, and you're providing valuable information, and you're a great resource for me, because for me to do well in this business, I had to learn this business, and being able to learn it from you was a big asset. And I also appreciate the fact that, some other customers that I have in the home inspection business, you become a resource for, and we've been able to have those people reach out and talk to you and share some of the knowledge that you have and the growth that you've incurred. And it helps build relationships in my business. It helps build relationships in your business. And, if I could offer one piece of advice, or you remember anything from this podcast, the thing I would tell you is it's all about helping each other out. Like if you have a desire to help out other people and other businesses, you're going to build tight relationships. Your growth is going to be faster, and not just fast, because a lot of people grow fast, but with a really durable foundation. Mm-hmm. And those relationships are that foundation. So thank you for all you guys do, and I appreciate what you do for me, Joe.
I really appreciate that, Dave. And if you guys are, for all our listeners, if you find this podcast valuable, please give us a rating, give us a review, so other home inspectors and other businesses really have this resource so that we can help them in their businesses. We really appreciate the reviews we've gotten. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every week. And we're really, truly grateful for all of you. So thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget to, like it and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and share it to home inspector friends of yours, because that is our goal. Our goal in these podcasts is to be shared and to share very valuable information that's going to help other home inspectors grow. And that's what we want. We want to be sharing beautiful information and getting people on here. So again, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube. You can find us anywhere. Dave's information will be in the comments below. And thank you for listening to this episode of Inspection Pro Joe. And we'll see you next week.
Take care,
Amen.
guys.